Hello and namaste everyone. Welcome to Srijan India ONE's community-led series, Podcast 1. I'm your host Morningstar, bringing to you some fascinating topics from geography and environment. So, the theme that we are exploring today is based on the question, how do the Himalayan ecosystem and the Western Ghats play a role in maintaining India's environmental stability? So, let's begin, shall we? Okay, so first off, why are the Himalayan ecosystem and the Western Ghats considered vital for India's environmental stability? See, the Himalayan ecosystem and the Western Ghats are critical for maintaining India's environmental stability due to their unique biodiversity and their role in regulating the climate. The Himalayas act as a barrier to cold winds from Central Asia and influence the monsoon patterns, while the Western Ghats are a biodiversity hotspot that regulates the water cycle, including the monsoon rains. These regions are also home to numerous endemic species and are crucial for sustaining the ecological balance. Now, here's a fun fact for you. Did you know the Himalayas are often referred to as the water tower of Asia because they provide a continuous supply of water to rivers that support over 1 billion people. Anyway, so how does the unique biodiversity of these regions contribute to India's overall environmental health? Well, the unique biodiversity of the Himalayas and the Western Ghats contributes significantly to India's environmental health by maintaining the ecological balance. These regions house many endemic species that play specific roles in their ecosystems, such as pollination, seed dispersal, and soil fertility maintenance. The diverse flora also helps in carbon sequestration and water retention, which are essential for mitigating the effects of climate change. Now, here's a trivia question for you. Which part of the Himalayas is known for having some of the world's highest biodiversity levels, including species like the red panda and the snow leopard? Do give your answers in the comments below. So, what are the environmental challenges faced by the Himalayan ecosystem and the Western Ghats? Well, both the Himalayan ecosystem and the Western Ghats face significant environmental challenges, including deforestation, habitat loss, and climate change. In the Himalayas, glacial melting due to global warming is a major concern, leading to an increased risk of floods and loss of water sources for millions. In the Western Ghats, deforestation for agriculture and urbanization has led to habitat fragmentation, threatening the survival of many species and reducing biodiversity. Now, here's another fun fact. Did you know the Western Ghats were declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2012, recognizing their biodiversity and cultural significance? Now, how do human activities impact the environmental stability of these regions? Well, human activities such as deforestation, mining, and unplanned urbanization severely impact the environmental stability of the Himalayas and the Western Ghats. In the Himalayas, activities like road construction and tourism contribute to landslides and soil erosion. In the Western Ghats, agricultural expansion and infrastructure projects have led to habitat destruction and increased human-wildlife conflict. These activities not only degrade the environment but also disrupt the ecosystems, leading to long-term consequences for biodiversity and climate regulation. Here's another trivia question. The Western Ghats are spread across how many states in India? Give your answers in the comments below. So, what measures can be taken to protect these vital ecosystems? You see, to protect the Himalayan ecosystems and the Western Ghats, a combination of conservation efforts, sustainable development practices, and strict enforcement of environmental laws is essential. Reforestation and afforestation initiatives can help restore degraded areas, while promoting eco-friendly tourism can reduce the environmental footprint. Additionally, involving local communities in conservation efforts and raising awareness about the importance of these ecosystems are crucial steps. Implementing and enforcing strict regulations against illegal mining and deforestation are also necessary to safeguard these regions. Now here's another trivia question. Which famous valley located in the Himalayas is known for its rich flora and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site? Do give your answers in the comments below. So, today we explored how the Himalayan ecosystem and the Western Ghats are indispensable for maintaining India's environmental stability. These regions not only influence our climate, but are also vital for preserving biodiversity and ensuring ecological balance. Before we end, here's a question for you to consider. What role do local communities play in the conservation of the Western Ghats and the Himalayas? And how can they be empowered to protect these ecosystems? You can share your structured answer in the comment section or on the discuss handle of our official website in about 250 words. Thank you for joining me today and stay tuned for more insights and updates. This was your host Morningstar, guiding you through the dawn of knowledge in geography and environment. Have a great day everyone. Adios.
Hello, Namaste and Julai everyone. Welcome to Srijan India ONE's community-led series, Podcast 1. I am your host Adarsh on Science and Technology segment of the series. In this video, we will start with a question and discuss its aspects. Here is today's question. What is nanotechnology? How does it help solve modern problems? What are the problems associated to it? What are the initiatives taken in India and government approach to the technology? In order to answer the question, let's start understanding its segment and build the understanding around it. First part is, what is nanotechnology? Nanotechnology involves manipulating matter at the atomic or molecular scale, typically between 1 and 100 nanometers, to achieve a desired precision-based result at nanometric scale. Let's understand the above statement. Nano means 10 to the power minus 9 meter. Any technology developed by human capable to be in such a small scale are nanotechnology. Technology is a scientific tool in a paradigm to comprehend human requirement, so a desired result would be expected out of it. At this size, unique properties emerges due to quantum effect and increased surface area. Now, we would try to understand its application and answer how does it solve modern problems. In healthcare industry, nanotech aids drug delivery, diagnostic, and tissue engineering, cancer treatment using targeted therapies. In energy domain, it improved solar cells, batteries, and energy storage. Construction of materials, making equipment stronger, lighter materials, example, carbon nanotubes. This could also be leveraged for water purification, where nanomaterials can help remove the pollutants. In realization of efficient economic devices for making smaller, faster components. Remember the Moore's Law? Named after the Gordon Moore, co-founder of Fairchild Semiconductor and Intel. It is an empirical observation that the number of transistors in an integrated circuit doubles approximately every 2 years. Although not a law of physics, it has guided the semiconductor industry since the mid-20th century. However, It's worth noting that Moore's law has faced challenges in recent years, and alternative approaches such as software performance engineering, nanotechnology, quantum computing, etc. are being explored to enhance computers' performance post-Moore law era. Nanotechnologies can help make wrinkle-resistant fabrics. There are many challenges associated with nanotechnology as well. There are concerns regarding toxicity and nanomaterial safety. Its disposal has environmental impacts as well, like it could easily enter the biological food chain. Access to nanotech benefits is also a challenge, restricting many people in the technology domain and are often centered within the reach of wealthy. Some of the initiatives taken by India are Nanoscience and Technology Initiative (NSTI), which started in 2001 with an initial funding of Rs 60 crore. NSTI laid the foundation of nanotechnology research in India. Nanomission, which was launched in 2007 with Rs 650 crore funding during the 12th five-year plan. The Indian government's 2024-2025 budget emphasizes innovation, research and development, but the government aims to promote the private and public investment in post-harvest activities, including expanding the application of nano DAP, nano-sized diammonium phosphate, across various agroclimatic zones. India ranks third globally in nanoscience publication, showing a growing number of patent applications. Understanding the above facets, funding and research quality need enhancement to access the technology and create a more robust and highly curated solution with the help of nanotechnologies. India's focus on nanotechnology aims to harness natural resource, improve healthcare, and enhance defense capabilities. I hope you find the video helpful. For more such videos and content, follow your host Atish at Srijan India ONE. Until next time, stay safe and stay informed.
From Civil Services One, I'm your host Ignis and you are listening to our community podcast Understanding Bharat, where we entangle the vibrant threads of India's rich tapestry of governance, polity and society. Whether it's the quirky nuances or the deep, impactful decisions, let's deep dive into the issues that shape our nation. Today's episode tackles a crucial question from the UPSC Mains 2023. Discuss the significance of fundamental rights in the Indian Constitution. How have recent amendments or judicial interpretation impacted these rights? To answer this question, let's begin with a quick overview of fundamental rights. Part 3 of the Indian Constitution enshrines 6 key rights: equality, freedom, protection against exploitation, freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and constitutional remedies. These rights form the cornerstones of our democracy, ensuring justice, fairness, and dignity of all citizens. Did you know? Most of the fundamental rights are not absolute but qualified, within the purview of reasonable restrictions. But what are these reasonable restrictions? Leave your answers in the comments below. Moving forward, let's dive into the significance of these fundamental rights. Number 1. Right to equality, Articles 14 to 18. This right guarantees that every individual is treated equally before the law, irrespective of caste, creed, gender, or religion. It not only abolishes untouchability but also ensures equal opportunity in public employment and educational institutions. It's a big, bold statement against discrimination, ensuring that everyone has the same opportunities to shine. Number 2. Right to freedom, Articles 19 to 22. This right encompasses freedoms such as speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. It's your passport to a world of exploration and active citizenship. Number 3. Right against exploitation, Articles 23-24. These articles are the Constitution's bodyguard, standing firm against forced labor, human trafficking, and child exploitation. Number 4. Right to freedom of religion, Articles 25-28. This right provides the freedom to practice, profess, and propagate any religion of one's choice. It also encompasses the right to establish and maintain religious institutions, ensuring religious liberty and diversity. Whether you are a deeply religious or completely agnostic, your beliefs are your own business. It's about respecting diversity and letting everyone follow their own path to peace. Number 5. Cultural and educational rights, Article 29 and 30. These articles protect your right to preserve your traditions, language, and learn whatever you want. It's an invitation to embrace your heritage while building a brighter tomorrow. They support the preservation and development of cultural identity. Number 6. Right to constitutional remedies, Article 32. This article is your legal superhero, granting you the right to approach the courts if your fundamental rights are violated. It provides a judicial mechanism for seeking redress, ensuring that justice is accessible and effective. Now, as we understand rights and their significance, let's test your knowledge. An interesting concept related to fundamental rights is their positive and negative nature. Do you know the difference? Answers in the comments below. Now, as the Indian Constitution is a living document, fundamental rights, at its core, also adapt to modern complexities. Moving forward to the next part of the question, let's look at some amendments and judicial interpretation that have impacted our fundamental rights. Consider education. Once a privilege, it's now a fundamental right under Article 21A. Strengthened by the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Amendment Act 2019, ensuring access in private institutions. This guarantees every child a fair chance at a better future. Rights have also expanded in other areas. The landmark National Legal Services Authority versus Union of India case recognized transgender individuals as a third gender, significantly advancing the right to equality. Similarly, in a digital age, freedoms have been re-evaluated too. The judiciary's decision to strike down Section 66A of the IT Act was a victory for free speech, expanding the right to freedom into the digital realm. These are just a few examples of how our fundamental rights are continually shaped by our nation's trajectory. Do you know any more such example? Share your unique perspective in the comments below. To conclude, fundamental rights are the safety nets in the high wire act of our democracy, always there to catch us, no matter how daring the leap. As our legal landscape continues to evolve, these rights adapt like expert acrobats, ensuring our freedoms and protections keep pace with modern challenges. So as we swing from one episode to the next, remember that these rights are our flexible, ever-vigilant guardians, making sure our democratic performance remains both spectacular and secure. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you for tuning in to Understanding Bharat. I hope through today's question you were able to get a deeper understanding of our fundamental rights. If you found this episode insightful, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. This is your host Ignis signing out. Until next time, keep learning and stay curious. And keep the spirit of Constitution alive. Jai Hind.
Welcome to Srijan India ONE's Community Podcast, a podcast where we try to learn the A to Z of international relations, our neighbors, and much more. In the last episode, we talked about India and China relations, inter alia, the bilateral business, cultural connections, and the security standoffs at the border. Today, our topic revolves around India's Burmese neighbor, Myanmar. Here goes today's question. Discuss the strategic importance of Myanmar in India's Act East policy. How can the two countries deepen their economic and security cooperation? The question first appeared in the UPSC Civil Services Mains exam in the year 2017 as part of the GS Paper 2. Let's try answering it. India's Act East policy is a strategic shift from the Look East policy, which emphasizes enhancing economic and strategic ties with Southeast Asian countries. Myanmar, sharing a 1,643-kilometer border with India, holds a pivotal position in this policy due to its geographical location, cultural ties, and economic potential. Myanmar acts as a land bridge between South Asia and Southeast Asia, making it indispensable for India's regional outreach. What is the strategic importance of Myanmar? Myanmar is India's gateway to Southeast Asia, providing crucial land and sea routes that enhance India's connectivity with ASEAN nations. Projects like the India-Myanmar-Thailand Trilateral Highway and the Kaladan Multi-Modal Transport Project underscore Myanmar's role in improving regional infrastructure. Myanmar's borders with India's northeast states are vital for regional integration, development, and stability. Connectivity projects through Myanmar help address the developmental challenges of India's northeastern region, linking it with broader regional markets. Myanmar shares land border with 4 Indian states. These states are Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, and Mizoram. Let's cover some security concerns with Myanmar. Myanmar's cooperation is essential for managing insurgency issues in India's northeastern states. Joint operations, intelligence sharing, and coordinated actions along the border help curb cross-border insurgency and illegal activities. Myanmar's location makes it crucial for India's strategy to counterbalance China's influence in the region. With China investing heavily in Myanmar, India's engagement is necessary to maintain strategic equilibrium in Southeast Asia. Time for our Let's Talk Money segment. How are the economic relations between the two countries? Myanmar is rich in natural resources, including oil, gas, and minerals. India's energy security strategy includes investments in Myanmar's energy sector, ensuring access to these resources. Myanmar's emerging market presents opportunities for Indian businesses in sectors like agriculture, textiles, pharmaceuticals, and IT. Enhancing trade and investment ties can be mutually beneficial, contributing to economic growth in both countries. Expediting the completion of connectivity projects like the Kaladan Multi-Modal Transport Project and the India-Myanmar-Thailand Trilateral Highway is essential. Improved connectivity will boost trade, tourism, and people-to-people ties. Promoting digital infrastructure in Myanmar, including collaborations in IT and telecommunications, can facilitate economic integration and digital trade. Regular bilateral meetings and joint operations between the Indian and Myanmar security forces can improve border management. This would address issues like cross-border insurgency, drug trafficking, and illegal migration. Enhancing naval cooperation in the Bay of Bengal can secure maritime routes and counteract piracy, smuggling, and other maritime threats. Joint naval exercises, intelligence sharing should be intensified. What are some steps that India can take to enhance the relations with Myanmar? Number 1. India can extend technical and vocational training programs to Myanmar, particularly in areas like agriculture, healthcare, and education. Such initiatives will build human capital and foster goodwill. Number 2. Simplifying trade procedures, reducing tariffs, and creating special economic zones in Myanmar with Indian investment can enhance bilateral trade. Encouraging public-private partnerships in infrastructure and energy projects will also deepen economic ties. Strengthening cultural exchanges, academic collaborations, and tourism can reinforce historical and cultural bonds between the two nations. Soft power initiatives, including scholarships and cultural festivals, should be promoted. In conclusion, Myanmar's strategic importance in India's Act East policy is undeniable, given its geographic, economic, and security dimensions. By deepening economic and security cooperation through enhanced connectivity, joint security initiatives, and cultural diplomacy, India and Myanmar can build a robust partnership that not only benefits both nations but also contributes to regional stability and prosperity. This partnership is vital for realizing the full potential of the Act East policy and for maintaining India's strategic interests in Southeast Asia. With that, we end today's session. Hope you liked it. Let's end with 2 questions for you to answer. Question 1. Analyze the impact of the military coup in Myanmar on regional stability and India's security interests. Question number 2. Examine the impact of the Rohingya refugee crisis on India's relations with Myanmar and Bangladesh. What should be India's approach to balancing humanitarian concerns with strategic interests? You can answer these at our official website mentioned in the description below. Until next time, this is your host, Mr. Diplomat, signing off. Bye, adios, alvida everyone.
Hello everyone, welcome to this amazing podcast series managed by Srijan India ONE. I am your host, Anu. So today, I will take you to a chain of events that concern the 50% of our population. Yes, the women. Let us embark on a journey that talks about a path of resilience, empowerment, struggle, and hope with concerting efforts of gender equality. Before we start, a quick question for you all to answer in the comment section below. Which state in India has the highest female literacy rate? Now, let us begin. Women empowerment is the process of attaining self-confidence, power, and control of their lives and acquiring the stability to make strategic choices. The initiation of empowerment also includes the right to influence social change for themselves and others. Components of women empowerment will include a sense of self-worth, freedom to determine their own choices, access to opportunities and resources, and essentially a freedom to engage in viable professional duties. Empowerment in its form can be socio-cultural, which will include a change in the older perceptions and stereotypes, which adhere to the norms in which women are expected to perform in society. Having female bus conductors in buses is a breakage of the age-old norm that binds females to the cultural duty of managing the care economy only. Economic empowerment is the boost towards promoting financial literacy and inclusion. This would also include a sense of promoting financial independence. Economics as a subject was essentially seen as the way in which the management of the household took place. In the same manner, women of the country can help promote sustainably viable policies. You will be surprised to know that in India, we have 7 lakh insurance agents which are females. And the managing director of LIC, Life Insurance Corporation, Usha Sangwan, is a torchbearer for many women towards this direction. The vibrant speeches of Draupadi Murmu ma'am, the Honorable President of India, channelizes the role of women towards achieving political leadership and top-notch positions in the country. The recent Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam bill passed by the parliament provides 33% reservation to women in the parliament, which has already been provided in the local self-governing bodies at grassroots levels. This was essentially done by the 73rd and the 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts passed in 1992 and 1993 respectively. The trajectory of events that promote women's empowerment has been made possible because of contributions of various scholars, revolutionaries, leaders, and representatives. The ancient Indian culture gives profound importance to female goddesses like Kali, Durga, Parvati, Saraswati, and Lakshmi. The worshipping of these goddesses has been a central practice in Indian households
which eventually promotes the notion of gender inclusivity and empowerment. In medieval and modern times, various scholars like Tarabai Shinde, Ruqayya Shekhawat Hussain, Pandita Ramabai, Savitribai Phule was essentially trained by her husband Jyotiba Phule, being the founder of Satyashodak Samaj, and Aruna Asaf Ali have contributed towards imbibing the notions of freedom of choice, opportunities, values, and belief systems. A step ahead towards this idea has been initiated by the government, which includes a plethora of schemes aiming at providing an ear for voicing interest and concerns. The Government of India has launched a series of skill development schemes that aim to enhance the overall potential of female beings, like the Lakpati Didi scheme. The introduction of training institutes for drone management for females makes the initiative more technology-friendly. This AI-driven world can also help in promoting sustainably viable policies which aim to promote women empowerment. On par with insurance, the Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana is a bulwark, and lastly, the works of Anganwadi and Asha workers are phenomenal. So in conclusion, the growth of this trajectory trail has overall been a bed with thorn roses. It has been difficult journey of providing hope and resilience to women. The stigma, stereotypes, taboos and prejudices still prevail. But still, me being woman and hosting a podcast with you today is a sign of empowerment. How can a country run or even the nation work when 50% of its voices are not heard? So, we being a civilization, we coming from a great civilization, should aim at promoting the notions of empowerment. Happy learning. Thank you.
Hello all, welcome back to our podcast series. I am your host Arjuna. Let's continue to our topic of economic survey. This would be our first chapter, that is State of the Economy, Steady as She Goes. The economic survey projects real GDP growth of 6.5 to 7% with balanced risk despite higher market expectations. India's economy sustained its momentum from FY23 into FY24, overcoming external challenges with macroeconomic stability. Now some key highlights from FY24 includes: first, real GDP grew by 8.2%, surpassing 8% in 3 of the 4 quarters. Real GDP is an inflation-adjusted calculation that analyzes the rate of all commodities and services manufactured in a country for a fixed year. The real GDP is regarded as a reliable indicator of a nation's economic growth, as it solely considers production and is free from currency fluctuations. Second, gross value added increased by 7.2%. Gross value added is a measure of total value of goods and services produced in an economy. The amount of value added to the product is taken into the account. The formula of gross value added is GVA equal to gross domestic product plus subsidies on products minus taxes on products. Third, net taxes at constant price roses by 19.1%. Fourth, retail inflation dropped from 6.7% in FY23 to 5.4%. Retail inflation, also known as consumer price index inflation, it is the rate at which the prices of goods and services that consumers buy for personal use increases over time. It measures the change in the cost of basket of goods and services that are typically purchased by households, including food, clothing, housing, transportation, and medical care. CPI inflation is of 4 types. First, CPI for industrial workers. Second, CPI for agricultural laborer. Third, CPI for a rural laborer. Fourth, CPI for urban non-manual employees. Out of these, first 3 are compiled by Labour Bureau in the Ministry of Labour and Employment, and fourth is compiled by NSO in the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Fifth, current account deficit improved to 0.7% of GDP, down from 2.0% in financial year 2023. Current account deficit is when the value of country's imports of goods and services is greater than its exports. Current account deficit and fiscal deficit together makes up twin deficit that can impact the stock market and investors. A lower current account deficit can boost investor sentiment and make the country's currency more attractive to investors. A surplus in the current account indicates the money is flowing into the country, which can boost foreign exchange reserves and the value of the local currency. Sixth, direct taxes contributed 55% of total tax revenue, with indirect taxes accounting for the remaining 45%. A direct tax can be defined as a tax that is paid directly by an individual or organization to the imposing entity, generally government. A direct tax cannot be shifted to another individual or entity. A taxpayer pays a direct tax to the government for different purposes, including real property tax, personal property tax, income tax or taxes on assets, fringe benefit tax, gift tax, capital gain tax, etc. Examples of indirect taxes such as sales tax, value-added tax, or goods and services tax is a tax collected by the intermediary, such as retail store, from the person who bears the ultimate economic burden of the tax, such as consumer. Seventh, fiscal deficit of union government down from 6.4% of GDP in FY23 to 5.6% in FY24. Fiscal deficit refers to the shortfall in the government's revenue when compared to its expenditure. The formula of fiscal deficit is total expenditure minus total receipt excluding the borrowings. Eighth, shares of agriculture, industry and services sector in overall GVA at current prices in FY24 were 17.7%, 27.6% and 54.7% respectively. Ninth, manufacturing sector grew by 9.9% in FY24. Gross fixed capital formation from private non-financial corporation increases by 19.8% in FY23, which act as an important driver for growth. 10th, construction activities also registered a growth of 9.9% with 4.1 lakh residential units sold in the top 8 cities. In 2023, real estate witnessed 33% year-on-year growth, highest since 2013. 11th, capital expenditure for FY24 stands at 9.5 lakh crore, marking an increase of 28.2% on year-on-year basis. Capital expenditure involves spending on assets that provide long-term benefits to the business, such as purchase of land, buildings, machinery, or equipment. 12th, quality of spending by the state government improves as gross fiscal deficit was 8.6% lower than budgeted figure of 9.1 lakh crore. So these were the quick snippets of the Chapter 1 of Economic Survey. I would like to thank you for your attention. This is all we have for today. For more content, please like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.
Namaste dance enthusiasts. Welcome to Rhythms and Wave, where we explore the mesmerizing world of classical dance forms. In today's episode, we will delve into the rich heritage of classical dance, its origins, styles, and the magic it weaves. Hi, I am your host, Falcon, and today we are going to discuss about classical dance forms, Mohiniyattam and Kuchipudi, which UPSC had already asked in previous year questions. Have you ever tried classical dance? Share your experiences with us. Let me know in the comment section who is your favorite classical dancer. Tag them in the comments. So now, let's discuss about first Mohiniyattam dance form. Mohiniyattam is based on Natya Shastra's Lasya style. It has delicate movements and more feminine facial expressions. The movements are gentle and glide-like. They do not have terse rhythmic steps. More emphasis is on facial expressions and hand gestures. It is traditionally performed only by women. Kathakali, on the other hand, was confined to men. Although in modern times, women also take it up. According to some experts, the dance form is 700 years old. One of the earliest references of Mohiniyattam is available in Vyavahar Mala. Like many other Indian art forms, Mohiniyattam suffered under the colonial British administration. Travancore king Swati Thirunal contributed to the growth and systematization of the art form. Eminent Malayali poet Vallathol Narayan Menon and dancer Kalamandalam Kalyani Kutti Amma made tremendous efforts to uplift the dance form. Dr. Sunanda Nair became the first in India to acquire a master's degree in Mohiniyattam. She completed her PhD thesis in intrinsic lyrical feminism in Mohiniyattam from Mumbai University. There are sculptures of female dancers in poses similar to those seen in Mohiniyattam found at the 11th century Vishnu temple at Kottayam. A few texts that find mention of Mohiniyattam are Vyavahar Mala, Gosha Yatra, Balaram Bharatam. So there was a news related to Mohiniyattam in the Hindu newspaper. Now let's discuss about it. So it was about Kanakreli. Kanakreli played a pivotal role in bringing a systematic structure, academic credibility, and prominence to Mohiniyattam, in addition to promoting female roles in Kathakali. In her performances, Kanak depicted the Naika as a strong character rather than a lovelorn woman merely waiting for her Nayaka. Kanak efforts also involved securing affiliation with the University of Mumbai for Nalanda, leading to a formal degree in the art form. Like most other classical dances of India, Mohiniyattam underlying traditions are found in Bharat Muni's Natya Shastras. Mohiniyattam costumes include white or cream plain sari adorned with colored or gold brocade weaved in its fringes in the typical Kerala style. The artist also wears gold jewelry on her neck, arms, hands, ears, etc. Now let us discuss about Kuchipudi from Andhra Pradesh. Kuchipudi is a classical dance form renowned for its blend of grace, intricate footwork, and dramatic storytelling. It originated in the village of Kuchipudi and often incorporates elements of both dance and theatre. The dance form derives its name from the Andhra village. It was originally performed by a group of actors going from village to village known as Kuselavas. It symbolizes the element of earth. It remained confined to villages till 19th century when Bala Saraswati and Ragini Devi revived this dance form. In the 17th century, Siddhendra Yogi, a Vaishnava poet, introduced the Kuchipudi style of Yakshagana and composed Bhama Kalapam. He trained young Brahmin boys from Kuchipudi village to perform his composition. By the mid-20th century, it emerged as a distinct solo classical dance style. Thus, there are now two forms of Kuchipudi, the traditional musical dance drama and the solo dance. Solo dance include Manduka Shabdam, Jal Chitra, etc. Manduka Shabdam means story of a frog. Jal Chitra Nrityam means the dancer draws picture on the floor with his or her toes while dancing. Kuchipudi dance is accompanied by classical Carnatic music. Some of the famous prominents are Radha Reddy and Raja Reddy, Yamini Krishnamurthy, Indrani Rahman, etc. Kuchipudi, rooted in Andhra Pradesh culture tapestry, showcases a seamless fusion of tradition and innovation. Its vibrant performances, characterized by dynamic movements and expressive narratives, continue to enchant audiences worldwide, perpetuating the rich legacy of Indian classical dance. So, dear listeners, keep dancing, keep celebrating, and let the magic of classical dance continue to unfold in your lives. Until our next episode, this is Falcon signing off with a twirl and a smile. Stay tuned for more captivating stories and rhythmic journeys.
Democracy, written constitution, the ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, and countless other gifts which are an integral part of our modern lives, have been, in fact, an outcome of struggle and hardships endured by thousands of people back in the late 18th century. The two major events which acted as the vanguard of change were American and the French Revolution. Thus, today, we shall pick up a question from mains examination, which tries to analyze the contribution of these events. So the question for the day is, explain how the foundations of the modern world were laid by the American and the French Revolution. Now the answer. As the world was coming through the age of enlightenment, two seminal events, American and French Revolution, ushered in a new era of political thought, social ideals, intellectual impetus that laid the groundwork for the modern landscape. The effect has been so profound that what is considered the norm today came through the churning of revolutionary ideas of centuries. The American Revolution brought forth the new power in the political arena, which was about to shift the paradigm. The various ways by which American Revolution catalyzed the entry into the new modern world are: A. Democratic ideals. Ideas like popular sovereignty, representative government, and providing authority to the will of the people marked not only a decisive break from colonial rule, but also made the United States of America as the world's oldest democracy. B. Practical examples of Enlightenment ideals like natural rights of a man, social contract, individual enterprise, humanism, etc., which were propounded by philosophers like Locke, Paine, Montesquieu. C. Rights and liberties. American Revolution's emphasis on individual rights, freedom of speech, influenced the development of modern human rights framework. The US Bill of Rights set a precedent for safeguarding individual liberties and providing protection against arbitrary rule. Governance. Government structure with an elected head of state, separation of organs of government, division of power, true federation were the highlights of the new polity. E. Written constitution and constitutionalism, giving power to the due process of law. F. Geopolitical realities, international relations, diplomatic exchanges, and new spheres of power, especially after Monroe Doctrine. G. Champion of capitalism, free trade, transatlantic slave trade, innovation-based industrialization made US a symbol of economic opportunity, influencing global economic systems and trade patterns. And finally, inspiration for other national movements. The ideas of revolution were responsible for various other national movements which stirred across the waters of Atlantic and Europe to pervade Europe, Haiti, Latin America, etc. French Revolution, on the other hand, swept away the old shackles of rotten system, of old and ramshackled order, and brought about a new world order across the world. Its impact in shaping the new world is seen in following ways. Nationalism. The nationalistic fervor was strong enough to transform the mere third estate subjects into citizens. The various constitutions, governments, directory, etc. helped scatter the seeds of revolution throughout France and later throughout Europe. End of absolute monarchy. The overthrow of the Bourbon monarchy and the establishment of a republic challenged the traditional authority of absolute monarchs. End of feudalism. The old world, which was characterized by privileges, gave way to the right-based world, where citizens were equal in the eyes of the law. liberty, equality, and fraternity. The ideas enshrined in the tricolor of France and the Declaration of the Rights of the Man and later the Women found expression in most of the constitution and polities of the world. Secularism, separation of church and the state, helped curb the interference of the religion and the religion bodies in the everyday affairs of the politics. These ideas contributed to the establishment of secular societies and protection of religious freedoms. Balance between family and state. Napoleonic Code, which still serves as the basis for legal codes in most of the Europe, had established a balance between the traditional and the modern philosophical realms. Workshop of various political philosophies like socialism, communism, anarchism, republicanism, general will, etc. were all used in different quantum while constructing the new model state for Europe. Thus the two revolutions, though in the different parts of the globe, were very much similar, and they were much beyond and much more than the regional outbursts. Their influence extended beyond their borders, inspiring subsequent revolutions and reforms that shaped the modern world. By bringing into light the ideals of equality, women's rights, labor rights, etc., which underpin most of the societies and polities of today's world. I hope you liked the session. Thank you so much.